In the often glamorous and carefully curated world of celebrity interviews, not every exchange goes according to script.
Nicki,
if you've never gotten a broom stuck up your is my question.
Can we get serious for a second?
It's really upsetting me.
Are you okay? Sorry about that.
Can we stop the interview? Is that okay?
So sorry, guys. Oh, God.
Yeah,
Sometimes celebrities just need to take a stand against the rude interviewers who think they can get away with saying whatever they want.
But what did you write on your hand?
Nothing.
Well, I saw there was a lot of things. What was it?
A lot of things.
Are they questions?
From actors walking out on offensive questions to women shutting down questions about their weight, a lot of these stars have had to make a powerful statement. Join us today as we look at some of the most epic examples of celebrities shutting down disrespectful interviews. 1. Lindsay Lohan on David Letterman. Who could forget the infamous David Letterman interview with Lindsay Lohan? This late-night TV moment turned into a cringe-worthy spectacle as the host repeatedly prodded the actress about her rehab journey. Lohan, who was on the show to promote an upcoming film, was met with an unexpected barrage of personal questions. Letterman started off by bluntly asking, "Aren't you supposed to be in rehab?"
Aren't you supposed to be in rehab now?
Taken aback, Lohan revealed her scheduled date to check into the facility, but found herself continually fielding invasive questions about her treatment plans. Despite clearly stating that rehab discussions weren't part of the pre-interview, Lohan tried to maintain her composure.
I'm not joking.
No, you're not doing that. We're not doing that.
Maybe one or two?
No, this is my show.
She explained that rehab was a chance to focus on what I love in life, attempting to steer the conversation back to her work. However, Letterman persisted, inquiring about her reasons for going, whether it was for alcohol use, her financial status, and if she was considering therapy.
Do you not watch anything that goes on?
I do.
Tabloid now?
Now here's what
May 2nd.
You don't, yes or no, do you steal stuff?
Eventually, Lohan's patience wore thin. She called out Letterman for his rudeness, while keeping her cool and continuing the interview with a positive demeanor.
We're not doing that.
Maybe one or two?
No.
This interaction became a prime example of how to gracefully shut down a disrespectful interviewer. 2. Tom Cruise on 60 Minutes. When Tom Cruise attended the premiere of Mission: Impossible – Dead Reckoning Part 1 in Sydney, Australia, he took measures to ensure the event went smoothly by carefully selecting the reporters allowed on the red carpet. Notably absent was a 60 Minutes reporter with whom Cruz had a contentious history dating back nearly 20 years. Back in 2005, while promoting War of the Worlds, Cruz was interviewed by Peter Overton, a childhood friend of his ex-wife Nicole Kidman. The actor, who was then several years removed from his divorce from Kidman and beginning a relationship with Katie Holmes, was not prepared to discuss his former marriage. The interview quickly soured when Overton brought up Kidman and touched on the topic of Scientology, leading Cruz to assertively express that the line of questioning was inappropriate.
Listen, here's the thing, Peter. Yeah. You're stepping over a line now. You're stepping over a line, you know you are.
The tension lingered, and Cruz's responses remained cold for the rest of the interview. This awkward exchange had long-lasting repercussions, culminating in Overton's exclusion from the premiere nearly 2 decades later. This incident serves as a reminder of the enduring impact that difficult interviews can have on professional relationships, even years down the line.
Okay, just put your manners back in.
Do you think I was out of line?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I apologize for that sincerely.
3. Timothy Chalamet on Oral History Hollywood. Now, this was an interview no one thought was rude until fangirls on TikTok came across it. There's a growing buzz on TikTok about an incident involving a Hollywood interviewer who was reportedly rude to Timothy Chalamet. In the viral clip, Chalamet appears visibly uncomfortable, and he begins rambling and apologizing during the interview.
Saying it's I'm just
sorry.
It's about you. It's about your ego. It's about you. I mean, I'm just really asking whether.
Fans have taken to TikTok to express their frustration and concern, sharing reactions and opinions on the perceived disrespect towards the actor. This incident has ignited a broader conversation about how celebrities are treated during media interviews, especially when they show signs of distress or discomfort. The overwhelming support from fans highlights the sensitivity around the public treatment of beloved stars like Chalamet. 4. Tom Cruise again. During the promotional tour for Top Gun Maverick, Tom Cruise faced an awkward moment when a rude interviewer jokingly suggested that the real sex scenes in the movie were CGI.
I don't mean the planes, I mean the sex scene. How much was CGI? I mean, it looked good.
Cruz, known for his professionalism, chose to ignore the inappropriate comment entirely. You can tell the interviewer is fumbling after his joke falls flat. Cruz steps in and smoothly redirects the conversation back to the film's impressive practical effects and the hard work of the cast and crew.
So,
really?
Bad joke. All right.
I think that's an understatement, isn't it?
I've never had sex, so I wouldn't know.
That's incredible.
You know.
His response, or lack thereof, was a testament to his experience and poise in handling the media. You just know he has stellar media training. 5. Amy Winehouse at Ivor Novello. On the 24th of May 2007, singer-songwriter Amy Winehouse was awarded the Ivor Novello Best Contemporary Song for her hit single, Rehab. On stage to accept the award, Winehouse joked that she hadn't even had time to get drunk beforehand.
I didn't even have time to get drunk, I've only been about 15 minutes. No.
The acclaimed artist told journalists how it felt to win an award for her songwriting and who she was looking forward to meeting backstage. She also made reference to her recent marriage to Blake Fielder Civil, who she described as the best man in the world. All of this happiness was soon to be diluted with her being treated with extreme rudeness when she left the ceremony with her award. One of the journalists was being so obviously disrespectful that Winehouse had to call them out for their rude behavior.
Amy, so many songs come out at bad times in life.
Can you hear him? Rude. You were.
Amy, so many songs come out at bad times in life.
6. Madonna defends Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey and Madonna have had a famously complicated relationship. Both immensely talented, they rose to superstardom in their own ways. Madonna had already established herself as an icon long before Mariah burst onto the scene in the early 90s with her hit, Vision of Love. This marked the arrival of a new powerhouse in the music industry, and soon enough, a public feud between the two began to simmer. Madonna, known for her sharp tongue, once remarked, "We have to realize that the same country that acquitted O.J. is the same country that makes a complete piece of crap movie number 1 that buys Mariah Carey records. It's got nothing to do with art." This was a direct shot at Mariah's musical success and popularity. Mariah, never one to back down, responded with a biting comment of her own. With a smirk and a laugh from the audience, she said she hadn't thought about Madonna since she was in 7th or 8th grade, implying that Madonna was no longer relevant to her.
Because maybe Mariah is stronger than you.
Well, well, don't jump to conclusions.
Okay.
She immediately shuts it down. 7. Scarlett Johansson on Extra. Hollywood A-lister. Scarlett Johansson has faced her share of inappropriate and sexist questions during interviews. One such incident occurred in 2012 during a promotional interview for The Avengers with her co-star, Jeremy Renner. While speaking with Jerry Penacoli from Extra, Johansson was asked if she wore underwear beneath her form-fitting Black Widow costume.
Now, were you able to wear undergarments?
You're like the 5th person that's asked me that.
Because
What is going on?
The question clearly annoyed Johansson. She then added,
Since when did people start asking each other about in interviews about their underwear?
Her response highlighted the absurdity and inappropriateness of the question, turning the spotlight back on the interviewer's lack of professionalism. 8. Emma Watson's burst bubble. Emma Watson's acting prowess has consistently wowed audiences, with many of her fans believing she deserves an Oscar, not for a film, but for her reaction during an interview. Watson, best known for her iconic role as Hermione Granger in the Harry Potter series, has also shined in films like The Perks of Being a Wallflower, Little Women, and Beauty and the Beast. During the promotion of Sofia Coppola's 2013 crime film The Bling Ring, Watson was thrown a curveball. An interviewer bizarrely asked her why she followed the official Santa Claus page on Twitter.
It's pretty upsetting me.
Are you okay? Sorry about that.
Can we stop the interview? Is that okay?
So sorry, guys.
Watson's response was priceless, showcasing her quick wit and genuine charm.
Anyway.
That would have been, if I'd been younger, be careful about that, because, 6 or 7 years ago, I probably would have really started crying.
Fair enough.
9. Anne Hathaway with Chris Van Vliet. During an interview with Chris Van Vliet, Anne Hathaway got visibly offended when he inquired about her workout routine for fitting into the Catwoman costume in The Dark Knight Rises.
How much weight have you lost to get into this shape right now?
You did not just ask me that
I'm
question.
just saying, you're like...
What a forward young man you are. My goodness. How much weight?
I'm not saying you needed to lose weight.
Her reaction indicated that she found the question intrusive and inappropriate, highlighting the ongoing issue of focusing on actresses' physical transformations over their acting achievements. All women want is to be recognized for their talent and dedication to her craft, rather than just her appearance, but male interviewers refuse to go anywhere past the question of weight and fittings. 10. Tom Hardy at TIFF. Tom Hardy has made a name for himself as one of Hollywood's most versatile actors. Known for his ability to adapt to a wide range of roles, Hardy's filmography showcases his immense talent. From playing the lead in Bronson to the menacing Bane in The Dark Knight Rises, a fighter in Warrior, a gangster in Legend, and the titular character in Venom, Hardy's range has made him a household name. His work has earned him numerous awards and a global fan base, cementing his status as a powerhouse in the industry. However, Hardy faced controversy during a press conference for one of his movies when a reporter asked degrading and inappropriate questions about his sexuality. The journalist suggested Hardy's sexuality might be ambiguous and asked, "Do you find it hard for celebrities to talk to media about their sexuality?"
Your own sexuality seems a bit more ambiguous. Do you find it hard for celebrities to talk to media about their sexuality?
When the reporter brought up the Attitude interview, Hardy clarified that his comments had been taken out of context, emphasizing he was talking about his roles, not his personal life.
I find it difficult for celebrities to talk about their sexuality. Are you asking me about my sexuality?
Sure.
Why?
Why?
11. Robert Downey Jr. walks out. During the British leg of the Avengers Age of Ultron publicity tour, Robert Downey Jr. faced an uncomfortable moment with Channel 4's Krishnan Guru Murthy. The interviewer began probing into Downey's controversial past and his relationship with his father, which led to an abrupt end to the interview. Downey, visibly uncomfortable, cut him off with, "What are we doing? Are we promoting a movie?" before walking out.
Still something.
I'm sorry,
new.
I really don't. What are we doing?
Well, I'm just asking questions, that's all.
Right.
The actor later expressed his frustration in an interview with Howard Stern, referring to Guru Murthy as a bottom-feeding muckraker and stating, "I just wish I'd left sooner." Unlike Quentin Tarantino, who had a tense confrontation with Krishnan Guru Murthy in 2013, but chose to stay and criticize him, Robert Downey Jr. found himself unexpectedly uncomfortable with the Channel 4 reporter's probing questions. Downey later explained on Howard Stern's SiriusXM show that he assumed there would be a certain level of social decorum, especially when promoting a superhero movie aimed at a young audience. He felt that the interview had strayed far from the topic at hand, making him feel uncomfortable and obligated to respond to an inappropriate line of questioning. 12. Quentin Tarantino on Channel 4. You didn't think we would mention the dust-up with Tarantino and neglect to mention it on this list, did you? Quentin Tarantino had a notable clash with Channel 4 news anchor Krishnan Guru Murthy during an interview before the London premiere of Django Unchained.
Interesting that you have a different view, and I'm just trying to explore that.
And I don't want to. Because I'm here to sell my movie.
The acclaimed director repeatedly refused to comment on the connection between on-screen violence and real-life incidents. Despite the film's heavy themes of slavery and violence, Tarantino abruptly declined to answer questions about the potential influence of cinematic violence on real life.
Refuse your question. I'm not your slave and you're not my master. You can't make me dance to your tune. I'm not a monkey.
I can't make you answer anything. I'm asking you interesting questions.
And I'm saying I refuse.
Okay. Well, no, I was just asking you why. That's fine.
At one point, he bluntly told Guru Murthy, I'm shutting your down.
Ask you to.
And
that's
I'm
all,
shutting
you know?
your down.
And that's.
Interestingly, unlike other instances where Guru Murthy faced backlash for his probing style, many viewers sided with him, agreeing that his questions were relevant given the film's content. Tarantino's reaction was seen as unnecessarily harsh, considering the context of the discussion. 13. Jesse Eisenberg versus Little Girl. Jesse Eisenberg, known for his roles in The Social Network and Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, has been in the limelight for years, so one would expect him to be adept at handling interviews. However, things don't always go as planned. In 2013, while promoting Now You See Me, Eisenberg participated in what became one of his most memorable and cringe-worthy interviews.
Do you know the comedian Carrot Top?
Yes, horrible.
Well, you were like the Carrot Top of interviewers.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
From the get-go, Eisenberg was critical of the young interviewer, Romina Puga. He called her out for trivial things, such as writing reminders on her palm, referring to an actor by only his last name, and even ridiculed her own name.
No.
Are you secretly hiding questions for the interview? You're wondering what it's like to work with Morgan Freeman and you can't remember that?
You know.
Don't call Morgan Freeman like you're on a Little League softball team with him.
This interaction, marked by Eisenberg's condescending tone, quickly went viral for all the wrong reasons. The clip of the interview went viral, with Eisenberg labeled rude and obnoxious. Puga later wrote her own account of what had happened, saying she was humiliated by the actor. Jesse Eisenberg has shared his view on the incident, expressing his surprise at the backlash it received. "I remember she was laughing," he said. "Even after she left, I told the people in the room that it was the funniest, most interesting interview I'd had all day." Eisenberg mentioned that his publicist later contacted him, explaining that several news networks were seeking a statement from him regarding the interview. This was after Romina Puga wrote an editorial expressing that Eisenberg's comments had upset her. 14. Mel Gibson on WGN-TV. Mel Gibson is known for his sensitivity to interview questions, a trait that's evident throughout his career. Back in the 90s, Gibson left the MTV Awards abruptly due to inappropriate questions. This sensitivity persists, as seen when he went silent after being asked about the Will Smith slap incident, prompting his publicist to end the interview. One of his most awkward moments occurred during an interview with Dean Richards while promoting Edge of Darkness. Although the conversation started smoothly, it took a tense turn when Richards brought up Gibson's past controversies. Clearly irritated by the direction of the interview, Gibson's demeanor changed, leading to an uncomfortable conclusion.
That the public will perceive you any differently after all that's been in the news about you?
What are you referring to specifically?
Referring to the.
Even as they wrapped up, it was obvious Gibson was displeased. 15. Yeah, and Piers Morgan. Kanye West had a tense encounter with Piers Morgan on Talk TV, leading to an abrupt exit. The friction began when Morgan questioned West about his anti-Semitic tweets, which included threats against Jewish people. This line of questioning proved too much for West, who walked out in the middle of the interview, refusing to respond further. Morgan, formerly of Good Morning Britain, managed to provoke a strong reaction from West, leading to the dramatic moment.
Hey, boy!
Don't call me boy!
Don't finish, I told you!
According to Morgan, getting West to return was no easy task, but they eventually convinced him to resume the conversation. Morgan later expressed his satisfaction that West returned, believing the rapper wanted to address the harm his comments had caused, though his pride initially prevented him from doing so.
Going to allow me to finish my sentence?
Yes.
The interview resumed and provided a platform for West to reflect on his remarks, albeit under intense scrutiny. 16. Eminem's strangest interview. Now hold your horses because this one was as weird as it was rude. Eminem, whose real name is Marshall Mathers, joined Stephen Colbert for an amusingly awkward segment on Only in Monroe. The interview starts at 21 minutes and 55 seconds into Colbert's show, set in a cramped television studio complete with an oversized pot plant and wicker decor, adding to the quirky vibe. Colbert and Eminem chat about the mundane topic of local highway traffic due to construction, and then Colbert humorously asks if Eminem plans to pursue a career in rap.
Construction. Yeah. Yeah, plus with all the flooding.
Right.
Yeah. You know the River Raisin is crested.
I did not
Didn't know that?
No.
Well, the important thing is just don't drink any sewage.
Colbert pretends to be unaware of Eminem's global fame, inquiring about the nature of his raps and if he uses sh-bombs in his lyrics.
What kind of rap do you do? Are you like sort of sing-songing a rap like Bone Thugs and Harmony, or are you more like street like Will Smith?
He continued with, "Are you more political or more about booty rhymes?" Colbert's quirky questions and comments seemed out of place, leaving viewers puzzled until it became clear the interview was satire. Effective satire should be immediately recognizable, but this segment confused some of the audience initially. Eminem was clearly in on the joke, maintaining a straight face as Colbert pretended not to know what feet on a song meant, or that Eminem and Marshall Mathers were the same person. Despite the humor, some found Eminem's performance less convincing, adding to the overall awkward charm of the interview. 17. Ariana Grande. Recalling past interviews with Ariana Grande, one can observe moments where her behavior towards interviewers and colleagues appeared less than amiable. In several instances, fans interpreted her responses as humorous, but others saw them as outright rude. In one interview, when an interviewer tried to set a hypothetical scenario involving McDonald's, Grande interrupted with, "I don't eat McDonald's."
Twitter Q&A that ran the other day, someone was almost a bit rude and they asked if when you go to McDonald's people give you crowns, which seems cruel to me.
I don't go to McDonald's.
Clearly displeased with the question.
Does it bother you does it bother you at all that you look so much younger than your age?
I'm in this because I like making music, not because I want to be a supermodel. If I look young, then that'll help me out when I'm 40 and I look 30.
Such behavior suggests a pattern of reacting negatively to questions or situations she finds unfavorable, indicating a discrepancy between her public image and personal interactions during interviews. 18. Nicki Minaj on Joe Budden. Joe Budden and Nicki Minaj have probably never been enemies in real life, but they're obsessed with selling the idea of discontent between them, so they have some kind of content to be broadcasted.
Nicki, if you've never gotten a broom stuck up your ass, is my question.
Well, let's ask him that first.
In essence, the Joe Budden podcast and Queen Radio are both bastions built to speak to each respective rapper's base. Nicki does Queen and Budden obviously does the Budden podcast. In recent years, Budden has found a niche to talk about. Now he's always recycling music industry conspiracy theories to a growing number of listeners, while Nicki continues to cultivate and insulate herself with the barbs as part of her radio show. Different agendas, right? But what happens when the two worlds collide and it's time for Nicki to get interviewed by the man of the hour? Nicki thought Budden was on her side, but things suddenly started to get heated when the rude podcast hosts all started coming at her, so the Queen did what she does best. She shut the haters down. In a room full of testosterone, Nicki is able to show these rude men who is boss, although she ends up having to use profanities and speak their language to get them to shut up and listen. 19. Aishwarya Rai on Letterman. Another infamous Letterman moment unfolded during a 2005 interview with Aishwarya Rai, the renowned Indian actress. During their conversation on The Late Show, Letterman made several culturally insensitive remarks that clearly did not sit well with Rai.
First, by the way, do you live with your parents? Is that true?
Yes.
Now, is that common in India for older children to live with their parents?
Rai, maintaining her composure, immediately called out his ignorance, effectively shutting down the offensive comment.
It's fine to live with your parents because it's also common in India that we don't have to take appointments with our parents to meet for dinner. So.
Her response highlighted the cultural insensitivity often present in such interviews, and showcased her grace and assertiveness in addressing it. If this interview happened today, Letterman would be completely canceled for his complete lack of cultural awareness. Rai really shut him up like a boss. 20. Jonah Hill's French Nightmare. In 2016, Jonah Hill experienced an unexpectedly awkward moment during a French TV interview on Le Grand Journal. While promoting his film War Dogs, Hill became the target of a peculiar and sexualized roast by host Ornella Fleury. Fleury kicked off the interaction by sharing a so-called sexual fantasy about Hill, which elicited immediate laughter from the audience and herself. She quipped, "Guess I don't need to finish the joke," before continuing. She elaborated on her fantasy, saying, "It's that me and you find ourselves in a hotel bedroom one night. We're talking, you're making me laugh, and then all of a sudden your pals DiCaprio and Brad Pitt walk in, and you leave. Jonah Hill has absolutely no idea what is being done or said to him, and he looks visibly very uncomfortable." 21. Lady Gaga, an inattentive interviewer. Lady Gaga is media savvy. In this interview clip, she manages to tell the interviewer he's an idiot without losing her cool, and despite her obvious frustration with the questions, she still delivers her primary message to its intended audience.
The gay community. Oh, wow. Why? Because I love them so much. Because they don't ask me questions like that.
He repeatedly asks her to elaborate on dumb things and digs into all the wrong areas. Watch as the Queen herself puts him in his place, all without ever betraying her annoyance.
I'm a female because I make pop music. You are judgmental, and you say that it is distracting. I'm just a rock star.
So which of these celebrity responses did you think were the most savage? What's a personal question that would have you walking out on an important interview?